Why can't you just be okay with me doing them in the morning?
Because it stresses me out.
What's the difference between me doing it now versus doing it before you wake up?
I don't know, just knowing that they're sitting in the sink while I'm trying to sleep drives me nuts.
Are you serious?
You really think you're gonna do them every morning before I wake up? Be honest with yourself.
Can you just be okay with me being unorganized sometimes? Like, I'm not asking you to understand how my brain works, but I would so appreciate if you would just understand that I need to do things at certain times to function the way I function.
It worked. It worked that way for a long time. But was it worth it? I think so. Maybe it's just my anecdotal experience, but it feels like most successful voices in the creative world of filmmaking, photography, YouTube, any other adjacent field deem it necessary to be meticulously organized. Yet I've gone through the past 8 years building a successful career as a creative entrepreneur with notebooks, Google Doc scripts, post-it notes, and very untraditional editing practices. For years I've championed it as my secret sauce, the crazy differentiator that allows me to churn through content and plow ahead. As long as I'm not hurting anyone, who's to say I should be acting any different? Why can't I build and have a successful career with an atypical, messy approach? But the reality is that it's been hurting me recently. Chaos seems to be catching up. I've been running marathons for 6 years now. I chased the 3-hour barrier for 5 of those years, and in that painstaking 5-year span I was plagued with hitting the wall. The moment where your body no longer has any carbohydrates stored as glycogen to burn quickly. Your body turns to a slower fuel source than fat, and you're forced to slow down. But I rarely ever prepared well enough for that moment. I would succumb to the wall, begin walking, leaving me with 10 plus miles of torture, and a time that was not indicative of what I could produce if I just endured at a slower pace and didn't stop. My stubbornness led me to half of a decade of failing to meet the sub 3-hour goal. I've now had 4 consecutive marathon attempts in the last 18 months without any walking. More importantly, I finally came to grips with the fact that I needed to prepare better. The rinsing and repeating I had been doing for years proved ineffective, resulting in failure after failure. I finally tasted the feelings on the other side of fighting the fight. I'm still tempted to walk every single time I race the marathon, but I've come to find that walking is a trap, a snarl that'll take you into its grasps, crushing your spirit, removing any hope of you finishing anywhere near your goal. Time is a thief. It took me 6 years of pursuing my own selfish, vain athletic goals to realize that this fight is applicable to every part of my life. I've known it. I've seen and heard the metaphors all over the whole time, but leaned on my own identity as a crazy differentiator. Someone who does it differently. Someone who won't fall in line with the advice, the sameness, the buttoned-up organization. But the lack of preparation and planning led me to walking for the past year. Sure, I was moving forward, but I wasn't realizing my creative capabilities. I don't regret all of it, though. That's the weird thing. It's made me unlikable in many ways by my closest people, and I have to live with that. I've done my best to make sure that it hasn't actually hurt anyone, and I can sleep well knowing I've made that effort. But I've reached a breaking point. I'm starting to realize that the benefits of the organization, the doing, and the not procrastinating are positively affecting my surroundings. And while the now me has no desire to do, the later me delights in the accomplished task. The absence of the nagging to do gives me the peace of mind to make things without reservation. This revelation has been a breakthrough in my professional career. I feel more invigorated to make significant pieces of art with a much clearer direction as a small business. But the revelation has changed so much more than my work. thank you so much for watching that film. I've been putting it together, for 6 months now. I just got to thank MusicBed for being able to support that endeavor and helping out and sponsoring a lot of these short films that I do. And the timing lined up perfectly, because if you're in that same position of wanting to make a short film, like if you have a script ready or you've been wanting to do something for a long time, MusicBed is actually doing a competition right now for 30 days on short films. It's called MusicBed Challenge. There are 3 categories in this film competition: spec ad, narrative, and documentary. So as long as you are within those 3 categories, you could submit one of your films. This could also be something that you've already made and want to submit as well. Winners will receive a portion of the $60,000 plus in cash and prizes and bragging rights for your film. So there's a lot to be won here. MusicBed is even giving you access to their collection of music so you can use their music on your submission. Get started by downloading the MusicBed Challenge starter kit in my description. I hope you submit your films, and thank you MusicBed for sponsoring this short film.